Here on the workbench we have a Game Boy Color. Customer brought this to us because they say that the transfer port doesn't work. And on our pre-inspection we also found that the start and select buttons don't work, and the A button feels really soft. Otherwise everything seems to work. So we're going to fix the start and select buttons as well as change out that transfer port. Let's get to work. So here we have the transfer port. We're going to take that out in just a second, but we're going to do an inspection on the rest of the board, and I can see why left on the D-pad, here let's face this way, start and select weren't working at all, and of course those are quite dirty. We're going to clean up all these buttons and make those work again and replace the button pads. This type of dirt and grime gets in there eventually, or over time I guess, and it'll cause the button to be hard to press and then eventually just stop working. Like right now, the start and select wasn't working at all. But there's no damage, you know, it just looks dirty. So we're going to clean that up. But let's first take off this transfer port. And that's going to be pretty easy. We're going to get some flux going on there. And then we're just going to use low melt mixture and push that right out with the soldering iron. It's really easy to do. Alright, so we're going to apply a generous amount of this low melt removal solder. And low melt removal solder stays melted longer. And so by keeping the heat moving consistently around here, I keep all the pins, solder joints melted at the same time, and then I can just push that through. Look at that. And out. Whew, that was hot. Okay. Then I'm going to use solder braid and wick this up. And we want the holes to be clear for the replacement part. Low melt solder not only allows you to remove the part like that, but it's a lot more wickable and will allow these holes to clear a lot easier. So when I get a couple of stubborn ones like that, all I'm going to do is add a little bit more flux here, and then I'm going to put a little bit more of that low melt down there. See? And make sure that that mixes with the existing alloy that's on there. And since we were having trouble wicking it, I'm going to put more flux. And then I should be able to wick those holes a lot easier now. Look at that. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Pretty good. Alright, let's clean that up. And while we have the port out, let's go ahead and check those capacitors for shorts. That one's good. That one's good. That one's good. That one's good. I actually don't even know what any of these go to. That one's good. That one's good. That one's good. Okay. None of these capacitors seem like they're causing any problems. Let's put the replacement port on. So we don't stock these parts. So I pulled this as a donor off of a Game Boy Pocket, and I have no reason to believe that it wouldn't work. I have almost never seen these not work. So the Game Boy Pocket was a lost cause and had other issues, but I'm sure that this port works fine. So let's solder this guy in. Oh, look at me. I'm putting this on the wrong side. Boy, I feel stupid. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's what you get when you're doing something you don't do very often. I'm sitting there looking at those pads like, why are those pads not tinned? Now I feel dumb. Okay. We all make mistakes. Let's try and get that off of there. Alright, is that gonna come off? Yes. Okay. Let's start over. Oh boy, I feel dumb. Okay. I did that. I haven't done that. I did that. The last time I did that was on a different Game Boy. It was a Game Boy Advance, and I was putting the trigger on the wrong side. Anyway, this goes on this side. It will solder it on this side. Alright, no big deal. 30-second setback. Now we're going to solder this on. I always tell people, pay attention to what you're doing, and mistakes are a lot less likely to happen. And I watched myself as I was curious why those pads didn't look tinned, and I soldered 1.5 of them on. Oh well. At least I caught it before it was fully on there. The worst way to catch it would be when you're reassembling it all. Then you just smack your forehead and do the Homer Simpson. Oh! Alright, that all looks on there pretty good. Let's clean that up. I don't like that black crusty on there. Pick that off. Get off. Okay. Let's grab a clean brush. Oh, I'm out of brushes. Hold on. Today will be reorder day for the brushes. Okay. That is good to go. Now let's see about these. Now all I really think I need here is some deoxit and a little bit of scrubbing. Those will clean up real nice. Now if they were real bad, I'd use a fiberglass brush. These didn't look real bad. I mean, it was bad enough that it didn't work, but all these other buttons did work, so just a quick cleaning on them. That makes it nice and clean. I'll use the dry side of the Q-tip. Of course, hand in hand with this is going to be replacing the button membranes, button pads, because those are probably dirty as well. Alright, all done. This is the finished device. I'm just going to get it put back together, and I am at work a little bit early, but later on we're going to have Mr. Banks show up with another Game Boy Color and some Pokemon games. He's a big fan. And we're going to initiate some transfers and make sure that the repair worked. Otherwise, everything on the repair bench is done. Thanks for watching.